Hey, welcome to 1500ESPN.com, where we're out at Winter Park. That's Andrew Kramer. I'm Derek Wetmore. Andrew, you got to talk to head coach Leslie Frazier today and the Vikings starting quarterback for Sunday. What did you hear from the press conferences?
Yeah, Matt Castle's already been named the starting quarterback for this week. They did it early again, and they decided to go with Castle. Now, Christian Ponder will back up Castle for the second time this year. If you remember, he did it before when he was healthy in that Carolina Panthers game, where Castle came out and laid a dud and produced only 10 points in that game against the Panthers. Now, we kind of figure out that the Panthers aren't as bad as maybe we thought they were, so Castle maybe gets a little bit of a leeway for that dud, but he's going to get the fourth start of the season. Like I said, Ponder will back him up for the second time. Now, this kind of, if it wasn't clear to you before, kind of shows you they're done with the Ponder experiment here. If he's healthy and backing up a Matt Castle, who is not going to be your future starter going into next season, if anything, he'll be a backup if he chooses to stay here for the second year of his contract. Now, he can opt out of it, too, if he decides to. So, there's a few moving parts here with this quarterback situation. What's clear is that Ponder is done. Castle's going to get the start. Frazier said we'll see about Josh Freeman, but he wouldn't commit to starting Freeman for another game, even though that Freeman has only started that one game that was 2 weeks after he signed here in October. So, very interesting stuff going on here at Winter Park with these quarterbacks, but right now it's going to be Josh Freeman inactive again on Sunday with Castle starting.
Definitely. The perhaps bigger news is the running back situation for the Vikings right now. Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart both will not practice until Friday at the earliest. Peterson's still dealing with probably a little bit of the groin, but the ankle's kind of the bigger.
The foot, the foot.
Right ankle, right foot. You know, they're working to get him cleared. He hasn't entirely ruled out playing Sunday. In fact, he still sounds hopeful, but at this point, it seems unlikely. What do we know about Gerhart and Peterson at this point? Yeah,
basically their plan is Peterson got out of the walking boot. Now it is a foot sprain. They're categorizing it as a mid-foot sprain, so it's not really. Some places have reported as an ankle. It's not bad. It is his foot. He got out of the walking boot today, and he actually got some work in the pool. And they're planning on doing that today and tomorrow with Peterson, and then getting him on the field here on Friday to see how he kind of reacts with his first action running on this sprained foot. Now, as Derek pointed out, he's had a groin injury and a hamstring injury before this year, and he's been able to play with it. Now, with that same mentality, Peterson told Frazier today, look, Coach, I'll be ready to go. Frazier came out here and told us, I'm not too sure about that. We're going to wait and see. Especially, he said he's going to err on the side of caution with the NFL MVP because there's no reason to risk him when you're already out of the playoffs in a lost season. So, Gerhart, same plan, won't practice Wednesday today or Thursday. Try to get him on the field Friday with his bum hamstring that he had. I believe he pulled that in that 41-yard touchdown run he had where he carried a few Ravens into the end zone. So if he can't go, Matt Asiata, your third-string running back, is going to get the start. You talked to him in the locker room. What did Asiata have to say?
Yeah, he's kind of a low-key guy. He said, run with the opportunity if I can. Talked about how tight-knit the running backs group is. We didn't learn a whole lot from him, but that Adrian and Toby apparently are the kind of guys that will cheer him on Sunday. Okay, good to know. Matt was low-key, and, he said, truly blessed, great opportunity, if indeed he does get that chance. Another player returning to practice, at least hopeful for the Vikings, Harrison Smith. The safety's been out for, 8 weeks now almost. He's been on IR but designated to return. Friday after practice will be the earliest that the Vikings could activate him from that list. He's been able to practice with the Vikings for the past 2 weeks. It sounds at this point, we talked to Harrison Smith in the locker room, it sounds like he's hopeful to play this weekend against the Eagles at the Metrodome, but he doesn't know how many snaps he's going to get. He said the team hasn't put a number, they have not circled anything. He, in fact, likely will not start. He'll just be mixed in at safety with Blanton and Sendejo and Sanford.
Right? Yeah. Jamarcus Sanford and Andrew Sendejo. The plan is to get them starting again and then rotate Smith in there and then rotate the other two at that other spot. But basically, Frazier said the thing is, Harrison Smith's been out since that October 13th loss to the Panthers. So the last time Ponder backed up Castle was the last time Harrison Smith played. And that was 2 months ago. Yeah. So you lose that NFL football shape. And Frazier said that going up against that up-tempo Philadelphia Eagles style, the Chip Kelly Oregon offense they got going on in Philly with Nick Foles, he said that's a tough game to jump back into for Harrison Smith after 2 months off. So they're going to see how much he can play. It's not a question of if, it's just how much can Harrison Smith play. But he wants to come back for these last 3 games, even though it's a lost season. So that shows where the second-year safety's head is at. He's not really into his own future. He's not being selfish. So that's a good sign that he wants to come out and give it his all for the Vikings franchise, even though he's still so young in his career.
Yeah. those are the big news updates from Winter Park. Keep checking back to 1500ESPN.com, where Andrew and I will have coverage for the rest of the day and throughout tomorrow on the Vikings. For Andrew Kramer, I'm Gerhart Wetmore signing off at Winter Park.